So good evening once again, welcome. This is The Link. My name is Malcolm Sime. And once again, my guest this evening is Amos Wekesa, a man who has spoken a lot who promoted a lot the tourism sector. Amos Wekesa, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
And I don't know whether there's anything you have not said about tourism in Uganda. You've said it abroad, you've said it back home. So I don't know.
I'm not yet giving up.
I'm even short of questions for tonight. But anyway, we're trying to link you to opportunities in the sector. This one about 1.4 billion US dollar sector, and which is still making even more money, and that is an area where the country really has to do a lot. And the reason we bring in an expert, Amos Wekesa from Great Lakes Safaris. Amos, the first question is tourism, because you've done a lot, the country has done a lot, probably government has done a lot, but is this a business that is visible today?
Well, I think the government on Ugandans in general must understand that tourism right now is the third most important sector in the world. UNWTO just released results on 27th August, just 2 days ago, on the international tourism trends. Tourism industry earned $1.6 trillion in 2017. That is
Did you say trillion dollars?
$1.6 trillion global international tourists. I'm talking about people that went across the borders. That means the countries were earning about $4 billion a day. This is the business we're talking about today, and it grew about 7%. This was the highest growth since 2010 for the world. Now, Uganda as a country was experiencing, I think, the best year probably in the last 40 years. And I can tell you this because I'm in the tourism sector until, of course, 2 weeks ago when this chaos happened. And I think this chaos has just put us
before you talk about the chaos,
no, it's important for us to know. It's important for Ugandans to know. This chaos was just put. But I'm telling you that this year was supposed to be the best tourism year in the last 40 years. Sure. Even Uganda Life Authority set a target between January and June this year. They beat that target by over 30 billion shillings in collections. Uganda Life Authority. They can tell you that. Of course, they need more money, and I think they were earning about 60 billion shillings. I think they were going probably by the end of the year, if things change again, they would make probably over 150 billion shillings. Of course, they need a lot more money to be able to look after our wildlife. This season, the high season, we had no cars available in town for hire. Tour guides were in shortage. Every rooms across the country had so many tourists. Small towns were so swarmed with tourists from all over the world. And the reason is that government of Uganda hired 3 PR farms on May 2016. One in the UK, one in the US, and one in Germany. Those 3 PR farms were given $1.5 million. But I'm sure that we have earned over $200 billion shillings out of investing $1.5 million. Now, that's very little money if you compare to, of course, the bigger countries. A country like South Africa invests $70 million marketing South Africa outside Africa every single year, and $10 million marketing South Africa within Africa every year. Kenya has got 18 PR farms across the globe, and that's why they're doing extremely so well.
So in short, it's a very viable
project, very viable industry.
So Amos, then where are opportunities for investment in this sector? Because I mean, I know that there are a few people who have labored to invest money. I know that you yourself in Great Lakes Safaris and other projects, you have really invested a lot. I know that you have new cottages coming up. I don't even know where you get the money from, but where are opportunities for investment for those small and medium enterprises, people with money or at hand who would want to put money in this sector? Where are the opportunities?
I think what Ugandans must know, a tourist is a person traveling for leisure, and that means that person has money to spend. So you start from the time the tourist arrives at the airport. So the government of Uganda must make sure the airport is so good and increase the number of arrivals at that airport. Because each tourist that arrives pays the planes pay landing fee, then they pay $50 per person for the visa, then they also have $57 in each ticket for handling services at the airport. Then when the person leaves the airport, goes to Entebbe town. Now, tourism, when people pass, it is you to think about what they will need. So in terms of accommodation, right now you can see Entebbe is now turning into an accommodation hub for tourists, because of course Kampala used to have challenges because of the traffic between Kampala and Entebbe. The other part is now thinking, if they leave Entebbe, they're coming to Kampala. That traffic is passing Entebbe Road. How can you position yourself with crafts? How can you position with restaurants? How can you position yourself? The research has shown MOOBS shows that any tourist who comes with $1,000 to spend in Uganda goes back with $600, because if you go to a hotel here, for example, you don't see information telling you that a troop is available here, you can do a city walk, you can go for a nice restaurant here, you can go to an entertainment place. We have not disseminated information to make sure that we can get money from that. Then you start thinking about, if I'm going to Mason Falls National Park, what do you have along the routes? Some of you have traveled to Mason Falls National Park. You can see a lot of accommodations starting up along the routes, but also restaurants are now coming up. Now we need proper, toilets along the roads. But as you put toilets, you put restaurants, you put petrol stations, this is what tourism has value to. Then you go to national parks. There's opportunity for investment in accommodation of all different levels. Things like boats are also needed within the national parks. Canopy walks are also needed within our national parks. So all you have to do in order to tap into tourism is see where the population goes and put something that the tourists will be able to spend money on. And that's what people should be thinking about. So the opportunities, for example, in this season, I have told you, in this season, there was no single tour car available for hire in town because they're all out.
Amos, what must one know?
What must one know?
Yeah,
What I'm trying to explain to you,
principles, what it takes, apart from saying we need roads, we need this, that. But me as a person, and have money,
and that's what I'm
just walking there.
No. I think one of the things is that when you see people moving, you must understand that money is also moving with those people.
Yes.
Now, one thing that you must know, it depends on which sector you want to come to. When you're doing, for example, you're involved in crafts, make sure that you do world-class crafts for those clients, and make sure those crafts are in the road where people can see and a place where people can see. If you're, for example, having a nice restaurant somewhere along the routes, make sure the restaurant has clean toilets, make sure the chef is world class, make sure they can be able to provide food. The tourists are willing to pay far much more money, for example, more than the local tourists, and that's something that you need to know now. When you want to go into tourism operations, you must understand how the internet works, you must understand how to position your business, you must understand how to deal with the client's money, you must understand how to provide a good service. Now, for us in tourism, we do what they call all-inclusive safaris. That means that when a tourist arrives in Entebbe, he gives us all the money, and out of the money they give us, we have 10% to keep to ourselves as a business. So we give money to petrol stations, we give money to hotels, we give money to park entrances, we give money to everybody that the tourist is going. Now you must make sure that you position yourself along that route for you to be able to earn some of the money from tourism. But where I see accommodation is going to be needed, a lot of Ugandans must think in that direction.
Well, and it's good. People are really looking at. There are very many people interested in real estate. I mean, whoever gets money, they want to go and build this and that. Maybe they need to know now what to build, apart from thinking rentals all the time.
Yeah.
But going forward, these little challenges and how to overcome them in that sector.
I think one of the biggest challenges we have is the appreciation of the fact that Uganda is actually having challenges economically because of complete lack of understanding of branding and marketing. So we need a proper budget from government of Uganda to market the country to become number one. Let me tell you, image is everything. And for Uganda, if you marketed, you talk about the quality of things that we have, we would do better. There's no country in the world that doesn't have trouble.
So you believe that the money we put in CNN, all these PR firms you're talking about, you mean it's delivering?
But CNN...
Is that
CNN
an area that government should put even more money?
Absolutely. CNN was only a $1 million investment. And I don't understand why Ugandans are crying. This was 2007.
I think you're happy with that because you saw your face in there.
No, that wasn't the thing. That's not the thing.
Yeah.
Uganda as a country should be able to put aside at least $30 million, $40 million. You've just seen our neighbors.
Visit Rwanda.
They've just gone and spent $30 million on Arsenal. Yeah. But they also have a big marketing group. Right now they're doing a world-class video for Rwanda. We can do the same. In fact, Rwanda has a lot less than what we have in terms of tourism attraction. But the thing is that we're not marketing it enough. That is number one. And of course, number two, we also have the challenges like this challenge that have just happened within last week. As I speak right now, the moment these challenges of Arua happened, I tell you, we have had the worst news across the world. The UK on Sunday 2 weeks ago woke up and said negative travel advisor to Uganda. On a Monday, all insurance companies said we're not going to give insurance travel to Uganda. Now, that problem can only be mitigated if government of Uganda now puts in money. Negative news is published for free. But if you want now to say, to fight the negative news, it's important that we invest money now and tell the guys, you know what, we have settled our problems, we're going to make sure tourists are allowed to come to Uganda, we're going to make sure they're protected, we're going to make sure they're safe. And yes, that's how we need to fight our problems, because every country in the world has got problems.
How much was your business hit, for instance, as an individual? In that period where we had disorder as a result of by-elections in the city.
When I came back from Zambia on Tuesday last week, I arrived in town and they tell me, Amos, we have to refund $295,000. I was like, what are you talking about? To clients, because they give us advances to pay accommodation, to pay park entrances, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But now it has reduced to less than $200,000, which is still a lot of money to refund. Taking money out. It's a poor country. It has to retain every single money for it to grow. So and not only Great Lakes Safaris is having problems of cancellation because of the challenges we have had. It's all other companies having the same. We have hit very hard.
And that's not just you. But no, there must be other people.
How
supportive is government policy, and how any interventions that can help, for instance, attract local investment in tourism?
I think one of the things that government
one of
the things that government must do is also reverse the taxation. Let's make sure that Uganda is an affordable destination, so that if I have $10,000 to spend, let it be spent here. Generally speaking, the roads are improving up country, which is okay, but there are still other areas that the government of Uganda can increase. But also right now, what we need, and majorly, is the opportunity for business. Can we have a budget right now? If you go to Kenya, for example, my brother, Kenya has tourism budget underclassified, because tourism is very fragile. So when you have a mistake like that happened 2 weeks ago, the last 2 weeks, it just kills the industry immediately. So it's important that we have a proper budget for changing the image, and that changing the image must have also the right people behind. Uganda Tourism Board, of course, is going through under restructuring right now, but we need people who can be able to have the same brains as the guys of Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, because we're competing with these guys.
We're running out of time, but just in seconds, I've never heard you talk about sports tourism, like golf. I've heard of the golf event coming up at Serena Chigo, for instance.
Yeah.
The golf and other sports. Yeah. People come here to join in and visit and spend money and sleep and etc. What is it in sports tourism? Is that an area with huge potential?
You see, the thing is that Uganda has so much potential. We have not tapped the Nile, we have not tapped Lake Victoria.
Yeah.
Even sports have also been touched, and a lot of people don't understand that all these things actually are part of tourism. So it's important for Ugandans to understand that whenever we have a game of sports going on around the country, we must be able to talk about it, publicize it. I mean, we just came back from Zambia. My son was competing for part of the Ugandan team in motocross, and I can tell you Zambia made so much money. Every hotel in Chutu was full, and so we have to think in that direction as a country in order to fight the poverty and create the jobs for the youth, like we clearly see are needed.
I've just been seeing a list, a lot of guests, very important people are coming for the launch of the Serena golf course in Chigo, and it's going to be big, Johnny Walker, etc. So
I hope you know that Kenyans are coming in every weekend to do
in
this
huge numbers. So
yes.
I think you're set to make money. Thank you very much, Amos.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time, but we'll always invite you to come and share with us how we can link viewers and everyone to opportunities in tourism. Thank you
so much. Thank you
so much. You're welcome. Amos Wekesa from the Great Lakes Safari, and that's the link.
Somebody tipped me that the file was sanctioned, and if I turn up, they will arrest me. So I thought it was proper for me to come and hand over myself into the arms of the state. And I was ready for anything. I was even ready for prison. Because the great men whom we cherish and